Hi everybody, I feel a little bit sleepy, and today when I rant or yap about Daggerfall. I've played Daggerfall, I've beaten the whole game, I've played this arena too, and it's quite a special game. Quite a special game, there is a lot of interesting stuff that you learn about the game, and I find it, I see parts of the soul in this game. I see developers actually caring about making a good game. So that's kind of cool. But it makes you, let's say, it's very fun to learn about Daggerfall. Game has a lot of interesting details. You have climbing. Let's talk about climbing. No, let me finish the first sentence. It's a very fun game to learn about, and it's not a fun game to play. The whole gameplay loop is just horrible, especially now in modern era, which is understandable. It's a very old game, but still, it's just horrible. That's why nobody makes games like Daggerfall anymore, because Daggerfall is kind of bad and not fun to play. Now, coming back to climbing, what I wanted to say about climbing. Climbing is wonderful. It's like a separate skill that you can develop for your character, and you can literally climb like in Genshin Impact or Zelda. I think this is a really cool thing. I think it's a really cool thing because you just, uh, let's say, so after Daggerfall, you have like different console eras. Let's say PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PlayStation. Actually, you had Kingsfield before the Daggerfall. So Daggerfall is PlayStation 1 generation. Is a PlayStation 1 generation game. PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, you have games, they are just not vertical. They are just very horizontal. You just walk around. Like Deus Ex is not a vertical game, Human Revolution at least. You have some like stairs, ladders, and stuff. You can put a box and jump on it. But in general, games just were not vertical. Skyrim is not vertical. Witcher is not vertical. Witcher 3 is not vertical too. So after some time, around like PlayStation 5 generation, we start getting games where you can just climb walls. It just wasn't a thing before, which is kind of interesting in my opinion. Uh, and now you feel like in a lot of games there is a lot of upward mobility. Even in live service games like Apex Legends, you can like climb walls, run on walls a little to get higher, to jump from them. Like Deadlock and other games, you have a lot of content in the game, and games expect you to climb walls and jump from them, which is cool. And the coolest thing is that Daggerfall did that before. So Daggerfall does that. After that, you have like a whole few generations of games where you had just no climbing of the walls, usually. And now it appears everywhere. Now, like every single RPG allows you to climb walls, allows you to double jump, triple jump, do something like that. I really like this thing about Daggerfall. Now, what I don't like about Daggerfall is that if you remember this kind of thing, on Windows you had a screensaver with like random tubes that generate on the screen. So whole Daggerfall is like walking along those tubes with no purpose. Especially dungeons. Dungeons are just ugly. Um, Dungeons are really bad because basically they have no sense, no idea why they the way they are. You just want to find a random object because you have a quest through the going through the whole dungeon, which is very hard to do because it's a whole dungeon after all, and it's randomly generated. It doesn't have like a very logical end, or we talked about Kingsfield in this video before. If you take Kingsfield has like a main road. Like on each level of the dungeon, you have like main hall, And from this hole, you have like different branches, and you explore the branches and you mentally wipe them. I don't know what's the word. Strike through them. Like you just like you just like uh, take a pencil and use the pencil over the name of the like blue cave, so you don't go in the blue cave anymore because you just completed it. You got the like key item or a reward or something, interacted with NPC, you never come back. So you kind of explore the dungeon, but you explore like a lot of little parts of the dungeon, and they are very Metroidvania, so you cannot go somewhere. You come back there later and stuff. In Daggerfall, it's just Minecraft. It's just Minecraft caves. It's just random caves, and game says to you, like in one random spot, there is like a very special diamond that you have to find. So imagine that. Imagine if in Minecraft you don't like. You see, the whole point is that it's okay to go in random generated dungeons if the goal is to not find a very specific place. And it gets even worse because in Daggerfall you have a lot of secrets in the dungeon. So there is like a skull, you interact with it, you open the door. There is a lever, you pull the lever, you open the door. Lever, I don't know. And there is even a worse kind of thing when you pull the lever and the some fucking door closes and you have no idea. So game doesn't tell you what it did, and there are items that you interact with and you just get teleported and stuff, and they are all like secrets. So it's a randomly generated dungeon where you have to interact with every single prop just in case. Otherwise, there is a risk you cannot beat the quest. It's bad. So if you just had to go in and like kill 50% of the enemies, for example, I'll be like, that's fine. You just go anywhere and you are progressing. In Daggerfall, it's not like that. You just go somewhere, you find a door, you open the door, and you see a giant room with 10 doors inside, and you're like, fuck. I thought I cleared the full dungeon. I guess I did not. That's bad. Okay, let me drink. Now we mentioned the same thing for Minecraft, where you find the where the game tells you not to find just any diamonds that you want to, but instead to find one very specific block of diamond. You're like, no, that's a very different kind of thing. Another thing that I don't like about this game. Okay, let's begin with the thing that I like and transition into things that I don't like. You have a very like powerful tool for creating characters, creating classes. You can add literally everything. Like, can you use magic? You cannot use magic. Can you use weapons? Which weapons you can use? Which materials you can use? Do you get damaged on the sun? Do you get damaged in the holy places? Or the opposite? Do you regen underwater? You can just manually control those things when you create a character, which is very, 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 very cool. And it affects your experience. So, for example, if you make a very, very, very strong character, you just cannot make. You take 3 times less experience, and the opposite. If you make like a incapable guy who can use only fists and stuff and cannot use magic and gets killed on the sun immediately, you obviously just start getting like 3 times faster experience. So the difference can be like 9 times. Very cool. But the problem is, I have no fucking idea what do I want to have. Let's take another game, for example, Fallout 1. When you play Fallout 1, in Fallout 1, you create a character and you also pick your favorite perks, like small guns, explosives, laser guns, big guns, I think, plasma guns, I think. I don't remember. And the question is, I have no idea what should I pick. So let's take small guns, for example. Do laser small pistol counts as a small gun? I don't know. Maybe. Another question. Will there be like cool small guns in the late game? Also no idea. Because you see, for example, you can get like I can imagine game giving you like a revolver, like Magnum revolver .44 that kills everything on sight, and it's technically counts as a small gun in the game, but it's like one of the strongest guns in the game. Or it can be the very opposite thing where you play the game, you reach like 25% of the game through, and all the small guns are just bad now, and you have to use like at least a shotgun or rifle or something, and boom, you fucking suck because you picked the wrong type of guns. This is very bad. I can't make a decision. So game forces you to start the game, to play a little, find out that you don't need this, and that. Start again. That's fine, but you see, let me say it this way. I actually really like the idea of removing stuff from you. So game allows you to restrict using like leather armor. Game allows you to restrict you to use magic. Game allows you to restrict you to use some kind of weapons like swords. I will be happy to do that, but if I played the game for a little bit more, if I played game for a little bit more and I had information what I enjoy, what I don't enjoy, what I like, what I don't like. And in this case, I will be really happy to put stuff that I don't care, to like completely restrict it for myself, at least for some time, to get like a benefit from it. It sounds interesting. It's sad that you have to pick that before you start playing the game. Another thing that I want to mention, game has a lot of gimmicks, interesting gimmicks. For example, you have clothes. Those clothes are just it's just a beauty thing, which is cool. So you can carry a cloak, or you have like a cat suit that's named Gadget suit, which is kind of interesting. And it's just a sexy suit, like like a leather kind of BDSM kind of thing, which is kind of hot. I'm not gonna lie. And I equipped that, and I equipped the cloak, and I found out that you can like use the cape of the cloak or hood of the cloak. I don't know, this thing that you put on your head. You can remove it or put it on, and depending on the helmet that I had, I did that. I removed or put it back. That was amazing. That was just amazing. I really loved that. Um, you also can. Another interesting thing is that you can just go into a useless province because game is so big, but it's empty. There are like countries in this game that are useless, just randomly generated. You can go in, just take a loan, and never come back. That's what I did immediately to have a good boot start. You can also buy a house and a ship, but they are useless. Just don't give you anything. You can't even like do cosmetic changes to the house. And on the ship, I don't know, you can store items, I think, and you travel faster between cities or something. It's just useless. Um, Another thing that's interesting about this game has a lot of dungeons, but they all look the same except like a few, which is strange. Maybe I don't understand something, but in Daggerfall, like almost all of the dungeons are the same. You just go down, you turn right, you go down, and you can go left, front, or right. And there are like three doors, and it's all dead ends here. And if you go left, you have like a secret door behind the door. You just learn that. This is so strange, and the thing is, you don't have to clear this place and go to another one, which can be a very good thing. Instead, game doesn't even remember that you was here, so you can just go out, go in again, and it just can go again. So you can repeat the same dungeon again and again and again and again. This is kind of stupid. Also, magic is OP, but I mean, it always was, always has been. It's just an OP thing. For example, I told you about climbing. Climbing is a skill. You have to develop it. You have to learn how to climb, and it will take you some time. But for example, if you get to the city will be closed at night, and you can just climb the wall, but you have to be good at climbing for that. And also, there is a magic in the game that allows you to levitate, and it's just basically a flying spell. And you can use it like almost immediately when you start the game, and it's just OP. And that's how it is for the whole game. You can lockpick. It takes time to learn to upgrade your lockpicking skills, or you can just use open spell on the door. Levitation told you already. Levitation is also bad because in the game you have another feature is that if you jump in the water, you cannot swim if you have too much encumberment with like weight. That's a cool thing. That's a really cool thing. You're like, oh, I'm drowning. GG. I like that. But you can use levitation. You can fly underwater. Not good. Plot. The script of the game is fine. Actually, surprisingly, I was interested about reading the stuff, doing the quests, reading the notes even. But everything except main quests are randomly generated, so there is no point in doing that. Again, the whole game is procedurally generated. Dungeons, quests, except the main quests. You have factions. You have a lot of factions. You have guilds, thieves guilds and stuff. But they all have like randomly generated quests, so there is no point in doing them. And you also lose reputation over time with them. So if you do quests to unlock something, it will like disappear over time. So it's like, why bother then? So that was sad because it was kind of thing that can worth it. Also, you can become a vampire, which is interesting. If a vampire hits you, they have a 1% chance to become a vampire. But I didn't know that. I learned that after beating the game. In general, that's the kind of thing that happens when you play this game. You see how a lot of things is unbalanced and randomly generated, and just stop caring about the game, which is really sad, but it's genuinely what happens. You just don't care about the game and you try to get through it as fast as possible, or just not play it at all, because it's just randomly generated quests. What's the point? By the way, if you open the manual, which is an interesting thing, game has a manual, and when you open the manual, game tells you never please reload the save files. Just try to play the game until you die. Like, I mean, not in real life, in game. Because you can fix everything and you cannot fix everything. This is the worst kind of thing. You don't know which quests are main quests or not. So when you take the quest, you have a time limit and stuff, and you can just fail the quest. Or quest giver can ask you for something, you can say no, and turns out it was a main quest, and you just like said no, and you locked yourself out of beating the game. That's like a shocking kind of thing. It shouldn't be like that. You can say it's an old game. No, it's like 1996. It's not that old at all. 1996 is not an old game. It's like, it's fine. People made better games back then already. Um, it's just, hear me out. So, in Fallout New Vegas, you have a yes man. And the whole point of the yes man is to allow you to beat the game if you failed everything. If you locked yourself out of NCR, Mr. House, Legion of Caesar, or Caesar's Legion, if you killed everybody, you technically still can always use the yes man, and even if you kill the yes man, he will just respawn and say, I'm fucking robot, what did you think will happen? Basically. And in this case, it makes sense to say never reload, but in Daggerfall, you can just accidentally refuse to do the quest and you just boom. Okay. And what I'm gonna do? Nothing. You just restart from the save file. And you sometimes just don't save for a very long time. It just happens to you too. It just also sucks. But at the same time, you see a lot of cool stuff in the game, like running, like daily quests, also randomly generated, and you had to level up your reputation in the guilds, which I didn't do, so I didn't do those things. But yeah, there is something good about the game. Like, you have a separate skill for running, for example, and it gets upgraded and you start running faster. There is an upgraded, like, there is a separate skill for jumping, for climbing, and you jump higher. That's cool. That's fun. But it's all gimmicks. It's not like actual gameplay. It's all gimmicks. And actual gameplay should be like it should be more fun to hit enemies. It should be more fun to explore the dungeons and stuff. Dungeons should be better, not randomly generated and other. So yeah, I kinda get it. It just wasn't fun for me to play the game. But I wanted to share it with world because it took me like a lot of hours to beat the game. See ya.